Welcome, I'm Melissa. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be doing my October plant favorites. I love doing the favorite videos every month. I can look back and just see what plants really just truly speak to me and which ones I just enjoy every month, and I like to see like the progress they've made. If there's a plant that has just done better, I just appreciate them a lot more, and it just makes me, I don't know, it just makes me fall in love with them even more. So I can't wait to show you today's lineup. Thank you so much for watching and being here, and we're gonna start with our first one. Up first is this little cutie. Many of you know this as a Monstera Mint. Gorgeous Monstera and plant. I'm going to show you her up close. So Monstera Mint was a wish list plant for me for so long, and I finally got one. I actually purchased this July 29th, so I've had it coming up on 2 months, and it's done so well. I filmed the unboxing video, so I'm going to show you how tiny it was when I first unboxed it, and it has given me 3 leaves. 1, 2, and 3. This one just unfurled, and I believe it's still kind of hardening a little bit. So it's done so well in my care, and it just seems so happy. And good news is I actually have some nodes growing on the bottom that weren't there before, which is just so exciting because I purchased this as one plant, and I could potentially have 4 vines growing like in the future in some time, which is crazy. I'm not sure if this is a tissue culture or not. I want to say it is, just based off of the growth and everything. I feel like, and how small it was, I feel like it definitely was. I still have it in the original pot that I purchased it in. It's like a 3-inch planter. It's really tiny, like it's a tiny, cute, petite little Monstera. I can't wait for it to get bigger and just see what it's gonna grow into. So beautiful. I love the minty leaves, the color. Here's our growth that I was talking about. So we have one here growing in the front. We have one here in the middle that's growing. And then we actually have one more right here that is growing in. So 3 growth points here in the front. I noticed the vine is starting to get a little bit thicker. It's growing some of its own cute little aerial roots. So I added a stake in here just for some extra support in the meantime. And then I'll eventually pot it up once it grows a pretty significant root system. When I potted this up, it was just like a very tiny plug when I unboxed it, and it was like lifting right out of here. So it didn't even have like a root system, I would say, at all. I'm not gonna repot this or upsize it because I want the root system to get pretty well developed. And it's such a tiny plant that I don't want to overwhelm it. So until I see roots actually coming out the top or the bottom and it feels root bound, that's when I'll do like a slight upsize. I'll probably go up to a 5-inch at that point, since this is a 3-inch. If I try to repot this plant now, it's going to just take a bit of a hit and it won't push new growth for a while, because it's going to focus on growing roots for a period of time. Then it could also potentially hold on to water longer. And I just don't want to stress this plant or anything like that. So plants can stay in their original pots for a very long time until they outgrow it. Being root bound is actually a good thing for plants, and a lot of plants don't mind, I feel like, being root bound. And this tiny plant gets tons of light. You can see all this sunlight coming in through my south windows here. And this guy literally sits in my window on the ledge. It can see the sky. There's direct sun on this plant from like all afternoon. I would say easily 5+ hours. And so you would think that this pot would dry out pretty quickly, and it does, but I'm still only watering this once a week. I let it go completely dry. So if this little plant can handle that much sun and being in this little pot, it can stay in here for a while. And yeah, I'll be so excited to upsize it though and get it growing even more. I feel like I just got so lucky with the variegation and the color on this one. I'm just so excited to have it, and yeah, I just love it so much. Definitely one of my favorite like up and coming plants. One that I know like each new leaf I'm gonna get so excited about and watch it grow. So I can't wait for that. I haven't really shown this plant a whole lot on my channel. If you did watch my plant updates I did for October, I did that within the past week. You will have seen this Monstera and the mint. I did like feature most of my plants, but this one is gorgeous. Let me take it out. I had to end up starting over and propagating a lot of my Monstera. So this is one mid-cut that I had growing and rooting. This mid-cut leaf is stunning. All those colors, the mint, the white, the green. Gorgeous leaf itself. And then this is the first leaf it put out here. I instantly fell in love with this little leaf. So beautiful. I love the chunky variegation. It's my favorite. And then this is the next leaf it put out. Still a gorgeous leaf, lots of green. It is growing so well. It had a pretty significant root system, so I went ahead and potted it into a 5-inch. I definitely didn't want to go any larger just initially after just at first being potted up. And again, same situation. I'm not going to upsize or repot or do anything until it significantly outgrows this pot. And then I feel like once the root system kind of situates, it should start focusing on new growth. It's in my moss pole mix. You can see I have a very aerated, chunky mix there. Water drains literally straight through. It doesn't sit wet for too long. Such a gorgeous Monstera. I adore this plant so much. It might be my favorite Albo currently at the moment. I have a lot of props that I will be planting back up soon, so I'll probably do those in a video and pot them all up with you. Gorgeous. I just adore this Monstera so much. This next plant, you guys, I don't know if you're ready for it. I need that Taylor Swift song to come on where it's like, I don't know the name of it, but it goes like, are you ready for it? And then it does that beat and then it like pops up. So this one here, what is this? This hands down is my current favorite leaf of all time. You cannot tell me that this plant leaf is not beautiful. This is my Philodendron Choco Red. Just the light green veining, the dark green, the velvetyness. If you guys could just feel this plant leaf, you will be obsessed. The cute little like lobe here, how it like is split and then it comes up to this cute little piece right here. It's so cute. It is literally the most perfect leaf. And the El Choco Reds have a beautiful red backside. Gorgeous. And it has a beautiful like petiole. It kind of has some rough edges to it. It is so beautiful. So this new leaf popped out recently. I think in my update it was working on unfurling, but it hadn't fully unfurled yet. And so when it started unfurling, I'm like, this is going to be such a beautiful leaf. It's actually still expanding. It hasn't really like fully hardened off yet, so it may even get bigger. I feel like this one, no, the leaf that I ripped. So this one was one that was unfurling, and I had put this plant into pon in a video not too long ago, and this was like the newest leaf, and I was so mad because it was going to be such a pretty leaf and I accidentally ripped it. But just like comparing, I don't know if you can see them, like the size jump already. Can you see that difference? So this magic came from pon after potting it into semi-hydro. All of my plants that I have in pon are just exploding and just love it. I have struggled to grow my Philodendron Choco Red for the longest time. I don't know, I just struggled with it so much. It rotted on me, it got powdery mildew, it just didn't seem happy in soil, and I'm like, what is wrong? Why can I not grow this plant? And I just have come to realize that pon for certain plants is just the way to go for me, because I've never had a leaf on my El Choco come out like this, ever. It's perfect. I have no words to describe it. Boing, boing, boing. But yeah, you guys know how much I've been loving pon lately. I don't have enough good things to say about it. It's actually growing quite a bit of roots. You can see already. It's coming out of there, so I'm not gonna upsize it or anything yet, but something I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that I may have to repot this one at some point. But if this leaf here is this gorgeous, being the first leaf into pon, I cannot wait to see another leaf. And I feel like I put this one in pon. I'm gonna have to look back. It hasn't been that long. So to get a leaf like this after transferring to pon, I just cannot get this resolved in soil. I could not. So it's just a beautiful plant. I knew I fell in love with this plant for a reason when I first got it, and this is why right here, because I always dreamed to have a leaf like this, and it's beautiful. So very happy with it, very happy with the progress, happy that it's happy, and I cannot wait for it to grow more. The next plant that I want to feature for a favorite this month is this Anthurium here. It is a gorgeous Anthurium. I have fallen more in love with Anthuriums. I feel like over the past, I would say a good month or so. I've always loved Anthuriums. I had an Anthurium collection pretty early on, a lot of the common Anthuriums, like the clary, the crystal, the forgetti, and then I slowly started to get more. And then I kind of stopped collecting them. I always said I wanted to get more eventually. So I feel like I'm ready to take on more Anthuriums and collect them because they're just beautiful plants. So this Anthurium here is one that I got from Jonah. She gifted me one of her seedlings. Yeah, I just cannot believe that she was so kind to do that. So this is her Forgetti and Dorayaki silver. So she crossed them, and this is the hybrid of the two. It's so beautiful. So this is a pretty big leaf it gave me, and then it's working on this one here is a new leaf, so that one should be expanding. I think, oh no, this is the new leaf here. So that one should be expanding soon, and then it's actually pushing another one like right in there. It's pushing another one. But look how beautiful this leaf is. I don't know if it's gonna pick up the shimmer. I love the Forgetti, so to have a hybrid, it's just so beautiful. I think it's such a unique leaf shape. It's so pretty. I cannot wait for this one to get bigger. It's just gonna be such a gorgeous Anthurium. And of course I put it directly into pon. I definitely wanted this one to just jumpstart and be happy because Anthurium really love pon too. And it seems really happy so far. It's pushing lots of new growth and I'm just so excited for it. So definitely one that I am just loving right now. It's so cute. And I can't wait for more leaves because if I get leaves that look like this when they're bigger, that's just like such a gorgeous plant leaf. So definitely one that I am loving lately this past month. Every time I'm over here on that plant shelf, I keep staring at it because it's so beautiful. So super happy about this one. Super thankful that I have this little guy in my collection and I can't wait for it to grow more. Next up is a propagation. It's this one here. This is a pink princess. Oop, there goes some stratum. Pink Princess Philodendron. These are actually bottom cuts off of my main Pink Princess. I had to end up propagating that one. So I have the top half planted back into soil. And these are the bottom cuts. I have, I believe, just two in here. So I have two separate vines growing. And both vines are growing like beautiful color. Both of them have like half moon leaves. That's a new one here. This is one that has a half moon. And this leaf here is gorgeous. It is rooting very well. I have it in stratum currently, and I'm just trying to decide what to do with this one. I probably won't keep both of these. I'll probably let one of these cuttings go, but I feel like I'm gonna keep the other one. And I'm thinking about doing this Pink Princess into pon. Oh, this one actually has a new growth point coming out. I didn't even see that right there. Got a new leaf coming in, and it looks like maybe this one too might be getting ready to push a new leaf. Since I kind of struggle with Pink Princess, I feel like in soil it's a philodendron that I feel like needs consistency with watering. They tend to get stuck leaves a lot, and you can attribute it to humidity somewhat. But I feel like if they go too dry in between waterings, they tend to get stuck leaves. Like some of my finicky philodendron behind me, like on my moss poles, that happens quite often. So I feel like this plant would really appreciate growing in pon. And I haven't tested, pon on too many plants yet. I have it with a lot of alocasia and some Anthurium, and only the one philodendron that I showed you. So I'm really curious to see how one would respond in pon. So I feel like I am going to pot one of these up probably soon. I feel like I have enough Fluval Stratum roots to plant it into pon. I've always just loved the pink princess, and I just dreamed of having like a really huge one day. I've kind of had a little bit of a setback with some of mine, but I'm really excited to get one growing again. And I just feel like pon's gonna be the way to go for one of these guys. So I'm excited for it. I have one in soil. Well, actually I have two in soil now that are doing well, and then I have the new marbled one that I have planted in the soil. So I'm gonna see how those do, but I may end up putting my other one, the top half of this one, into pon as well. But I'm gonna see. I think I might test it out with this one and see how it goes. And if it does well, then I'll probably transition that other one over. But I love the pink princess. I feel like I got so lucky with the genetics on mine. It has a gorgeous color. I like them with more pink than the burgundy colored leaves. Although they're still pretty with burgundy leaves, obviously the ones with like the pretty variegation, I like better, and I like the marbling on some of the leaves too. So I'm really excited for the marble one that I got at the big box store. I'm really excited to see what that one's gonna do in some time. If it's really gonna be like a true marbled pink princess, or it's gonna be more like splashy, I don't know. I love the half moons. I think the half moons are my favorite though. So super excited about this one. So yeah, I will be doing one of these in pon, and I will share when I do that with you guys. This one is next. This is my Variegated Maranta that has survived flat mites. I did show this in my plant update, but I wanted to just give her special attention for this video because I'm so happy she's coming back. Many of you know that I've been looking for another new Variegated Maranta for so long, and I haven't been able to find one. Every time I go at a big box store, or while I'm out and about, I always like want to stop. Just by chance, I happen to get lucky and there's one there. Because I know they randomly like show up, but I haven't had like any luck. I think I've been looking for, I don't know, 6 to 8 months whenever this one first came down with flat mites. It's been a while. I think it was like this time last year, around fall time, is when I first discovered flat mites in my collection. But this was one that just got affected like so bad, and I had tried to treat it and rehab it, and it just wouldn't grow for the longest time. And I finally feel like it's happy again. I have some strands that are more green, and some are throwing off some beautiful color. Like this one here, gorgeous. I've seen some Variegated Marantas with like really pretty sections of color, and even more like whitish looking leaves can grow. So my goal is to have that happen for mine. I would love to have one that is extremely highly variegated. So I'm still going to be on the hunt for one. If I ever spot more Variegated Maranta like out in public, like out while I'm out, I'm definitely going to buy one. I'm eventually going to prop this one once she grows more, since she is slowly recovering from flat mites. I don't want to stress her by taking cuttings or anything now that she's finally happy again. I haven't noticed any flat mite damage or anything coming back on this one. I know they've returned if I see damage, because usually the infestation has gotten out of hand again. So I feel like this one is finally rid of them. So happy to have my Variegated Maranta growing back. This is the Cruciovana. I have the regular Cruciovana too. Like pretty much most of my Marantas caught flat mites. So I love her so much. So happy to see the variegation growing in. This one's going to be another pretty leaf too. This one here, I can already tell it has some good color on that one. I'm going to be so excited. So very happy with her. I love Marantas, and just so happy she's growing back for me. So hopefully she continues to do well, and I can get a beautiful big plant of her growing. I know I'm going to take such good care of her. I've been just like staring at this section. Every time I come in my plant room, my eyes are drawn to this area. So yeah, when I propagate her, when it's time for that, I'll do that with you guys so you can see, you know, how I end up propagating them. I do have like a Maranta propagation video. I did that last year sometime, so it is a bit older, but I kind of go into more details of like propagating them and how I do that. But yeah, she's not ready to be propagated yet. So definitely one of my favorites for this month. I'm just so happy she's growing back for me. And again, I just can't wait to see her big and beautiful again. This next one here is actually my Philodendron Majestic. I was gonna feature my Sorderoy, but I feel like I've been more impressed with this one this month because it's grown some pretty impressive leaves and it's blown me away, honestly. I have another new leaf on the way coming in right here. And she's just, I don't know, she's just done so well in the short amount of time that I've potted her up. I got my Majestic last year at a local plant shop and I put it on a wire pole pretty much immediately, but I feel like the root system wasn't that good. It just kind of rotted out. So I rehabbed it and had it in my cabinet and sphagnum moss for a long time. It was rooting for a while. And then I potted it up recently, I would say 2 to 3 months ago, I would say. And so I put it on a Thiccly pole, just one layer. And then I would say within like the past few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I extended it and it was growing in my Ikea cabinet this whole time. And so I feel like that really helped this plant take off. Just one, being really close to light, and then two, just having a clear pole so that it can grow all these extra roots inside. There's just so many extra roots all the way in here, which just really gives the plant something to anchor into. When you have all these nodes that throw a bunch of extra roots, it's really going to just encourage growth and encourage the plant to climb. So this one, I do have 2 vines that I planted. Oh, Luna says hi. She's sleeping on my table in the sun. Now she's gonna sit on my lap in the sun. Hi. Yeah. But yeah, this one is 2 vines. So I have a little bit of a smaller one here. This is a new leaf that it just gave me. So this one is a little bit shorter, and then yeah, this one and this are part of this vine. And so this other one here is the bigger one that's growing, the one with the huge leaf. So this bigger vine is actually pushing, the one that's pushing the new leaf now. So I'm really excited to see that. I'm excited to see how much bigger it's gonna be already. I think the Majestic is so pretty. I fell in love with the Sorderoy. I've just been obsessed with that plant ever since I got it. And I always loved the Majestic too. When I saw this locally at the plant shop I went to, I just knew I had to have it. And I'm so glad that I bought it because I just feel like it's a beautiful philodendron. I don't know if you can make out the color. I don't know what it is with philodendron and their veining and the sparkles and the leaf shape. It's just so pretty. I feel like this one is pretty easygoing as well, just like the Sorderoy. And it just needed a little bit of a kickstart. And I think, you know, what's helped was the substrate and having like a chunky aerated mix, and then also like the moss pole. So I just started using the liquid fertilizer through my poles. So I feel like I definitely need more time with it to really see a difference. I know I was talking about that recently. So I feel like that's not responsible for the jump in leaf size. I think it's just climbing now, which tends to happen, you know, once you put a plant on a pole. As the higher it climbs, the more roots it gets, so the more it, the bigger it gets. So that and the light, and I think mixed with just the overall environment, definitely has helped. So super excited for this one. I feel like this is going to be a pole that's going to climb quickly. I feel like it's already done so well in a short amount of time that I put it on a pole. This leaf, I mean, I feel like is a pretty new leaf within the last couple of weeks. So for it to already push out another leaf, I feel like this one's going to be a little bit faster than the Sorderoy. So definitely one that's going to climb super fast. So I'm looking forward to this one next year, just to see the growth that I get from this. So super happy with the progress, and I just adore this plant. Next up, I want to give some love to a Scindapsus. I feel like I haven't really talked about or featured or shown my Scindapsus much lately. I did recently, well, not super recently, I would feel like a few months ago, I did like a propagation experiment and I added a lot of props in, and I ended up repotting a lot of my Scindapsus. And ever since that video, I kind of just didn't talk about them anymore. They took a little bit of a hit, I feel like, just from the repot, and it took them a while to kind of bounce back, but they're doing so well. I have always loved the Jade Satin. I feel like it's just a gorgeous Scindapsus, and it's grown a ton. You can't even see like how long the bottom vines are growing. It's done so well. It has this gorgeous green tone to it. I think the leaf pattern is so pretty as well with that texture. Such a beautiful one. I found my Jade Satin locally, not last year, but the year before, I think, before I moved. And yeah, it's done so well. It's grown super fast. I propagated it. I feel like it propagated pretty easily too. I did recently get the Variegated Jade Satin Scindapsus as an import over the summer, and that one I recently potted up and I took some props on, so it really hasn't started growing yet. I feel like Scindapsus don't import super well. They kind of shock and take a bit to get going, so I'm gonna see how that one does and how the variegation grows on it. If I can get a variegated one to grow like this one, that's gonna be so beautiful in some time. It's so pretty, especially when the sun hits it too. Such a beautiful Scindapsus. I feel like if you can get your hands on the Jade Satin, definitely get it. I mean, mine started as like a tiny 4-inch pot, so you can definitely get it to grow like this. Give it some good light and make sure you're fertilizing, and it'll definitely grow in some time. Sometimes trailing plants like these and pothos sometimes are known to be like low light tolerant plants. And so if they're not getting ideal light, they're going to grow a lot slower. So once you move them to more light, you'll be amazed at how like quickly they end up taking off. So I just wanted to give some love to this one. I'll have to show my Exotica again sometime here. But yeah, she's beautiful. I love her, and definitely has been a favorite for this month. And the last little cutie that I'm going to feature for the favorites this month is none other than this Variegated Micans. This is one of my most recent plants I acquired. It was imported from Indonesia. I just got it as the plant unboxing from Aeroid Asia. And it's so stinking cute. It is still like rehabbing, but it's gorgeous, especially this leaf here. I am in love with it. It's like super bright right now, so hopefully you can see okay. The sun is really coming in. That leaf is really pretty too. Such a gorgeous plant. It's hard to make the color out on this one. So I was saying is I was a little worried when I unboxed it because I noticed these two green leaves. I'm like, oh no, did it revert on me? I was a little worried. It does have a new growth point right here, and it does have some like aerial roots forming from the humidity that I have it in currently. You can see that little aerial root right there. So I have this importing in my dining room, and I have like a humidity dome over it, so it's trapping in humidity, so it'll help them recover. And I have it rehabbing in perlite. The root system on this one wasn't significant, so I imagine it's going to be in here for a while. You can see the stem there, it still has variegation, so I feel like, you know, there's a chance that it will continue without even propagating it. But I will be tempted to prop it just so that I can have multiples growing. Because if not, it's just going to be one long vine, and I want like a really big plant. I'm not sure how this one does climbing. I probably will end up putting this one on a pole. So I'm hoping this one climbs well and does well, and I get some pretty big leaves on it, because yeah, it's definitely one that I've been obsessed with this month. I just cannot believe that I have a Variegated Micans. I honestly just feel super lucky to have this guy, and just so excited about it. So can't wait. I will definitely keep you updated on the imports. I am making a separate video on the progress and everything with them. And when I'm ready to like prop or pot them up, I will take you on that little process with me. I think that's all the favorites I'm going to feature for this month. I was going to feature an alocasia, but I just showed my Fridex and my variegated one in my last favorites. And I don't feel like there's one that's super like speaking to me this month because I still love those and the Jacqueline. So I feel like I'm going to pass on showing you an alocasia for my favorites. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Some of these plants I just feel so lucky to have, and I can't wait to watch them grow more. I just love some of these plants so much, and these are definitely just some of my all-time favorite plants, the ones that I show you every month. So I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching and for being here, and I will talk to you guys soon.